I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing. You've got nothing, I'll keep hustling.
Welcome to Crypto MC, everybody. Today we're going to be looking at Shiba Coin. We're going to be looking at the long-term and the short-term trade probabilities. With me is my co-host Fibonacci Lee. Buddy, Shiba Inu, why do we think it's something to take notice of?
Based on chart, it's looking really bullish on a daily with a small accumulation. Like all the chart we showed you since we started this MEXC rundown.
Okay, so let's get into this, guys. Let's get into this. Let's not waste your time. So what do you see over here is big picture. Shiba Inu on MEXC. Right, guys. So as you can see with any big pump, and you need an accumulation to support the pump. You need an absorption of supply so that when there's a demand, there's very little supply floating around, which means the buying creates a run onto the coin, if you want to say it that way. And that's how you have these insane pumps. So what do we have at the moment is we've got the beginnings or the middle or the end, we don't know, formation of another accumulation range. Is this the accumulation that ends up becoming a distribution? But only time we will tell is when we lose certain levels, and we're going to share this. So one thing I want to point out to you guys for MEXC big picture is if I switch on my GAN, I can see that at around this area over here, we had the big crossover. Price decided to cross over from a strong bearish trend to change its character to a lateral trend. Now, what that means is if we were to look at this a little bit further down the line, you can see how when we accumulated, there was an area that price didn't want to go above. And once we broke above it, it kind of ran away from everybody. And now that area is currently being tested. So anything that was support or what was resistance in the past is now flipped into support in the present. So the argument for any accumulation, anybody that looks at this from a Wyckoff point of view, is that this was where a lot of absorption of supply came. And in between, Shiba Inu has obviously gone through and become way more than just a meme coin. There's a whole decentralized ecosystem built on the meme basis. And now that accumulation is basically in play because at the end of the day, this is being protected. Now, if we move on and we look at this from a momentum point of view, what we can see is that not so far ago, the lateral momentum has basically come into play because what we had was our last little shakedown when everything fell to pieces. And then from that point onwards, we got above it, we made a higher high. So here we definitely changed the character of the coin's price action. Now, if we move into and try and study the character, where did this lateral range come from? Well, we have the creek over there and we have the ice over here. So basically, this is the lateral breeding range or fighting range for the coin at this stage, with this being the area where demand will be kicking in and this be the area where supply kicks in. So if you have a look at this, you can see where the supply liquidity starts selling off. So any buys that we do take, we would want to see it go above the supply in order for us to be okay to hold it for longer term. And obviously the same thing when we look at buys, we have to understand that this area is going to be the area where demand kicks in. So any additional positions where we want to add a dollar cost average or want to buy some more, you can have a look at these areas for demand. So then this raises the big question, what the hell are we doing now talking about this? We smack in the middle between where supply is and where demand is. Well, the big thing is if I were to look at my risk to reward ratio, say we are looking at the Bitcoin probability. And what do I mean by the Bitcoin probability is what we shared on this stream a little bit earlier. So please go and have a look at that video if you didn't see that. So what we said there was that we are looking at Bitcoin short-term coming down a little bit so that we can grab a little bit more buys and continue onwards. And the idea is that Shiba Inu will come back down and test certain short-term support levels and buy zones. Now, these short-term areas will be shared by Lee. One thing I want to point out, guys, if we have a look at this is if you were to buy from the medium this area where I'm most interested, there's still a 21% risk to it. So if you cannot afford to carry a 21% risk to whatever you want to DCA into SHIB, you're welcome to flip into smaller areas and try and see where you get invalidation. Me, as a lazy trader, this would be the area where I would want to just grab a lazy buy and say, well, if I'm willing to lose $100 as a stop limit on whatever I'm going to buy, rather than just buy $100 at this level, because SHIB needs to go to 0 in order for me to lose my $100. So it means that I'm in a position where I literally cannot be losing money. And that strategy came from Lee, guys. And then just to point out, the long-term, the first probable buy area for me on the long-term area, should we get this rejection that plays out, would be over here. This would be the second area. And if we go and test the demand zone, we can still go around to these bottom areas. Now, reading out these triple or 5 zeros digits at the back doesn't really make sense. Just pause the screen and get the values of that. This being said, if we get above this area, remember what we said with any accumulation, there's 3 areas. 1, 2, and then as a sign of strength, if we go above this, 3. So those would be the areas where I would want to buy SHIB should I get those opportunities. Then what I want to just show you guys, this is what retail, this is what your position is looking at the moment. We've got this momentum playing out at the moment, and price doesn't want to get above that level, smack into the supply zone. So retail, people you're going to want to sell this to at a later stage will not feel comfortable buying and holding at this, because this is what they're going to be looking at. So just keep in mind that we don't end up buying where they are going to be interested in buying. Now, take profit targets for me on the larger time frame. Conservatively, I'm looking at around this target over here. So just pause the screen, write down the value. I'm looking at that target there, which would give us, from where we're buying, maybe an additional 98%. So it's a 2x on this specific issue, at this specific conservative point. And then the more aggressive one for a longer term swing, talking about 6 months, maybe to a year, we're looking at this at least, which will then give us another 100% on it. So maybe in a year or two's time, in a year's time, you're looking at a 2x your holdings on SHIB. That's the long-term idea. Lee, I need you to get me a smaller time frame buy so that I can maybe get in with a little less risk, which means I can have a bigger position. So bringing up your screen there, buddy, what are we looking at?
We're looking at the same coin. So on the left-hand side, 1 hour charts. On the right-hand side, 15 minutes charts. 1 hour charts. Short-term, okay, 1 hour chart, there's nothing bullish about it. So I like very much your area. I think it's about this level here. Okay, the numbers, I mean, 40, 111, 4 times 1 and whatever. So this is the area that I'm looking, and then you are looking at as well at this level here, I think. That will be the area, because, you know, this is a really nice consolidation, higher highs, higher lows. We make comeback, we made the higher high, engulfing candle here, 50% retrace, there's a gap. There's all the conditions needed to have a strong support. We actually went back to test that gap, that SR flip already once. You can come back a second time, make a double bottom maybe here, you know, and then go up. So what does it mean? It means that in this 1 hour chart, I cannot really take action within this price movement. Basically, if you look now on this line chart, everything looks pretty bearish to me. Higher lows, I mean lower highs. Okay, higher lows, lower highs. And we're coming back. So if you lose that level now, which is 40117, this pivot here, if we close below that, actually I would love to flip short for short term to go to this area. And if it is really bearish, then this short has got potential to go to way below area. And then that means that this long is no longer valid. That's got also a 9% risk. So don't short with all your money on that one. But then if I switch to a 15 minutes, there is a little bit of bullish momentum. By looking at this chart, we have a strong bullish divergence, RSI higher lows, price action, lower low. We cannot maybe see on this candle chart, but again, let's flip to this line chart. Here you can see exactly that this pivot here is lower than this pivot here, and RSI is much higher. So that is the bullish divergence that bring the price back up there. So taking this retrace, maybe around 40119393. So this 618,786
that
area.
fast 3 times in a row.
Just basically a fib level from this pivot to that pivot, 618786. That will be the golden zone, the sweet spot. And here you will have a really nice stop, which can be, at the previous low around this area. If you need a candle close when you are looking at this chart. So candle close about below this level. That will be actually your position to get out. So that will be a really, really nice and short scalp long with a really little risk on that coin. So the only, again, the only bullishness that I'm seeing on the 15-minute chart is only right now this strong bullish divergence. RSI actually did make already a higher high here, so it's a kind of confirmation. If the price wants to follow, that will be the short-term trade.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Right, guys, if you look at the screen, bottom right-hand side of the screen, support the channel, create your MEXC account, come trade SHIB with us. Top right-hand screen, you'll see the link to the Discord. Move over to the Discord, guy. That's where we are busy. That's where all the trade action is happening. Come chat with us. Come be part of the Frenemy community. Everybody is welcome. Right, Oli. That is the SHIB rundown. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at some more coins. Remember to take a look at the Bitcoin video.
I would maybe, if you register an account with our link, you'll get $20 free when you deposit $100, I think, on on MEXC. And I would maybe use, a little bit of that free money to trade that Shiba Inu. Even going right now at 38.2, it's a good trend. It's a good trend.
You never know, guys. You never know. So there's free money. Use our link. Compliments.
And we are pretty bullish at the back. We are pretty bullish at the back on Bitcoin, on S&P 500. So
let's see how it plays out. Righto. Always practice proper risk management. We've given you guys invalidation levels. Make sure to adhere to those. And as always, Lee, thanks a lot, buddy. And for everybody viewing, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and keep hustling.